Hello, everyone. Very good morning and good evening. Welcome to SastraGeek Solutions Step Up Circles. Let's quickly start our session for today, where we would be guiding and focusing that if you are learning SAP PP, how you can convert your knowledge into a job. Now, to knowledge into a job, if it need to be converted, in between it need to go through the path. In between it need to go through a channel, which is interview. Okay. And before interview also, there would be one more thing would be there. That is your CV, right? I'm not going to talk about CV. I have done a lot of sessions on the CV building. I have guided a lot of people. Give, yeah, you have a lot of knowledge, but if it does not show into your CV correctly, jobs will not going to come. So I've done a lot of sessions on that. I've delivered a lot of content on that. If you go through our SAP Job Hunt Mastery and Implementation Project Exposure course, I'm starting with the CV building itself because it's very important. So that part I'm not going to talk. I'm going to talk. You got the training, you are getting the training, or you're thinking to get trained on SAP PP, you would be building your CV good. And then when you jump into the interviews, how you need to prepare yourself for the interviews, what kind of questions would be asked. Okay, that kind of things we'll be talking about in today's session. What are the key areas you need to work as as SAP PP consultant, right? Note down one thing, what I have seen, the one of the great consultants who I have seen in the industry came from the operation experience, came from the end user experience. I always say an intelligent end user can be converted, or a very good end user can be quickly converted into a consultant. Okay, it is very easy to get converted. Your end user experience values a lot if you use it in a right way. And how to use that experience to become a consultant, that has been covered in our SAP Job Hunt Mastery and Implementation Project Exposure training. So now to start your career as a PP, I am expecting that you are already working. You're getting a training from the SastraGeek Solution. We have exciting SAP PP Mastery bundle. Then we take you to the excellence level. Okay, in the bundle, we have the server access there, live sessions are there, recorded sessions are there, how to build CVs are there, interview preparations are there, certification preparation, everything, different courses we have, which we have bundled together so that we can take you from zero, not till the module knowledge, not till the giving the interviews and cracking the interviews, but till the level where basically you would be sitting in a company and you would be working as a PP consultant working on your own. Okay, and you would be very different from the other consultant. And when people come and say that, hey, wow, you are doing the things differently, whether you have been trained, how you got trained on these things, and then you can say that I'm a SastraGeek product, right? So that level we want you to reach. Okay, not only the giving the training is not our focus. Our focus is that you should be able to sustain in the market. You should be able to work individual as a consultant in the market. Then our jobs are done. So I am expecting you are getting trained from yourself. You have been taken our bundles, or you are getting trained from outside from any other places, but you are following a targeted curriculum, a step-by-step curriculum. I always tell my all of the trainees that we as a Sastra Geek are not into the knowledge business. We as a Sastra Geek are into the structured knowledge business. Okay. So what happened that if you are preparing sometime, you're doing YouTubes, you're doing Udemy here, there, searching, sometime you are not focused and you are very scattered. Okay. So it is very important to follow a structured step-by-step curriculum in your learning. If you're not following, start following one. We have SAP PP Master, you can follow us or you can follow anyone, but do a structured training, okay, onto this. Now I'm expecting you are already getting trained, or you have already done the training, and then you have already prepared a beautiful CV, because between you and your interview, a wall of CVs there, and nobody is manually checking you. The AI tools automatically scans your CVs. They find whether you suit for the position or not, and then it gets shortlisted. So preparing a CV is important. When that part is done, then you will be coming to the interview. How you need to prepare for the interviews, that we are talking about. And in the SastraGeek solution, recently we are in process of getting it launched. Okay, two things we are launching new: mentorship program and the mock interviews for our students. As we said that I am into the training business, dedicated training business from last 7 years, and totally I have a 10 years of training experience. So now our community as a SastraGeek, when we started as a company 3 years ago, our community has grown. Now I have a group of PP consultants who have been already trained, placed, working into the different companies, and I have a newcomers who need help. So we are trying to have a focused mentorship program. We started 2 years ago. It didn't work with the Facebook mentorship program. It didn't work well. Now we are restructuring our mentorship program, trying to make sure that every trainee who is working to become a PP consultant, he has a mentor assigned to it. And then we are also putting mock interviews in place where you would be able to attend 2 to 3 mock interviews with us before you jump into the actual interviews. Okay. So that is the new things which we are going to launch in next couple of months. Most probably early March will be up with the both of the programs. So you will see that both has been injected to our big bundles, which we provide you to become a SAP consultant. Okay, so the first thing we need to talk about key areas to work on. If you want to become SAP PP consultant, if you want to crack SAP PP interviews, what are the key areas you need to focus about? Okay, I always talk about explain about yourself. Explain about yourself. भैया अपने बारे में explain करो. Right? Explain about yourself. What do you think that if this question has been asked to you, explain about yourself, for how long you should speak about yourself? When I take the interview and I say that, okay, can you please explain about yourself? The few candidates just finish in 10 to 15 seconds. Few only are able to last 30 seconds. I always say that 2 minutes is a good time you should be able to speak about yourself. Okay, it can be up to 3 minutes. Okay, it can be up to 2 minutes, but 2 minutes is the average time which you should be able to speak about yourself. Now, when you need to speak about yourself, and when I take the mock interviews, कि सर 120 सेकंड बोलना है, तो क्या बोलें? Okay, I belong to this home ground, I have that many brothers, I have that many sisters, I did my education in this school, in this district, my hobbies are this. So try to, when we said 120 minutes, 120 seconds, it should be a good 120-second content which will lead your further interview. Not too much of personal details. Okay, not too much of personal details. You can say that what is your background education, from where you belong from. That much of is enough as your brief background. Then the further things should be there which interviewer is interested about. He's interested about that what kind of SAP things you have done, what kind of SAP projects you have handled, what kind of SAP scenario you have exposure to. That all things he's interested about, right? Don't prepare your initial explanation thinking about that कि भैया मुझे क्या बोलना है, मुझे क्या अच्छा लगता है, right? Always think about what that interviewer wants to get out of you. He's going to give you as a PP consultant job, right? He will not be very interested कि भैया I have won 3 gold medals in the in the football, I'm very good into the racing, I'm an athlete. All things are good, but need to not to be highlighted in few 2-3 seconds here and there. You can mention that you are the multi-talented. You can mention, but he is giving you a job as SAP consultant. So make sure you are explaining that your business processes knowledge and SAP knowledge which you have and the SAP work which you have done. That kind of things need to be highlighted. Many people are making mistakes. They just finish without explaining anything. कि भैया SAP में क्या किया है, what kind of projects you have handled, what kind of scenarios you have exposure to. Very important, because what happens, what I use when I take the interviews, whatever the guy is explaining, I'm not interested ki what I need, right? I'm always interested that what candidate has worked on it. If he said that I have worked on MRP, I'm good about the planning, I will try to focus my interview on MRP only. If he's saying that he's good in MRP, how good he is in MRP. If anything he said it, he knows and he explains, I assume that if he does not know few more things which is required in my project, he would be able to learn and deliver. But if he's saying that, okay, I know this and he's not able to answer those, then it means that the candidate has not worked well. I always try to ask that what last 6 months or 1 year you have worked. Maybe it's not related to SAPs in the production or those environments. I try to ask more detail about it. If a guy has explained about what currently he's doing or what recently he has done correctly, right, then he would be able to also do the things in future, what we give it to them, even though they have not worked on it. So make sure you work on your 180 seconds, prepare a content, and make sure when you are explaining about yourself, you can also write it up and you can also practice in the front of mirror, because it's very important to have a good start to the interview. If you don't have a good start to the interview, then you quickly get underconfidence, and then the negative vibes start coming up. So make sure that don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos. Prepare for the first question, and 80% interviews will be having that first question. When they come and sit, although you have given the CV, everything is written, nobody has time. When I take the interviews for my companies, when I was working for Accenture, so many things, and then they have booked the interview for me, and then I will be just, okay, next 1 minute I have interview, I will just open. Maybe I will open the CV also. Interview has started. I didn't get time to go through the CV. I will ask, Bhaiya, tum hi batao what you have done, right? Many times it will be happening. You need to explain, although it is written in the CV. So make sure you prepare it well. Make sure you practice it well. But make sure you are not crammed it, and then you are not कि एक रट्टा मारा हुआ है, crammed stuff you are speaking. No. Whenever you want to speak your personal introduction, it should come with emotions, right? There should be some smiles. There you can pitch up your tone. You can pitch down your tone. Okay, you can explain the different things in the different tones. Speak like you are speaking with a friend. Okay, it does not mean कि गालियां देना शुरू कर दो, right? So, but speak like a human speak with the emotions, not like a robot speak. Okay, so that way you should speak with the emotions. Be prepared well. This part can highly guide the next 60 minutes of your interview. What interviewer can ask you can depends on the initial 2 minutes. Okay. After the first question is done, explain about yourself. If you are new, if you are the first comer, okay. If you have not much experience, then the next question come कि भैया PP कर रहे हो तुम, you are into the PP module. Explain about plant to produce cycle. Explain plant to produce cycle. How the plant to produce cycle happens. Okay. That place also people make a mistake. They cover it into 10 seconds. Sir, we have a MRP, planned order, we convert into production order, release it, and we do the confirmation. That way people have explained to me in 10 seconds plant to produce cycle. You should be a little bit more elaborative, that show that how much of depth you have. Okay, that shows how much of depth you have. You should explain the different kind of things that if we have a demand planning, the forecasting happens. It can come from the third-party tools or from the SAP S&OP, the forecast can come. Then as a plant independent requirements, it goes to the MRP. Then based on the different MRP strategies we have, or the MRP batch job, or to the manual MRP run has been done. Then the plant orders get created, which need to be reviewed by the planners. They check the material availability. They check whether it can be executed, they get this corrected, and then when they feel that okay, it can be given to the production team, they convert planned order to production order. So much of stuff, if you have been trained into it, that's the 40 hours of training, right? Plant to produce के बारे में तो बात करते हैं हम in 40 hours of the training, right? So there is a lot of content is there. So be elaborative and focus onto the areas which you have prepared well. Focus in the first 2 minutes also. If you know MRP in depth, focus again, speak MRP 2-3 times, so that you are giving the hint, so that next question can be asked on MRP. If you have worked very well onto the repetitive manufacturing, you can give the hints so that more question can be asked on that topic. Okay. So these two are very important. These two questions, I want you to sit, write it, and read 2-3 times in front of mirror these 2-3 answers. Because what happens when your interview starts well, then you come in a comfortable zone. I have seen a lot of people very good communication skills, but they are not able to speak properly. They are not able to speak with the confidence in the interviews if the start is not well. I personally do myself initially 5 to 10 minutes of the interview I spend to make sure that the other parties come into a comfort zone and then they start speaking about the topics. Many interviews would not be doing it, right? So make sure the first 2, 3 questions which you are expecting, you have prepared it well. Again, not cramming it, ratta nahi marna, right? Know the things, know the basics of it, and explain it well in a fluent English. In a fluent English. How much time? एक minute. How much time to plan to produce time? कितने मिनट तक बोलना है? Plan for 3 minutes. Okay, have your content for 3 minutes, not 10-second content. You can elaborate यार कितना कुछ है बोलने के लिए उसमें. Back flushing and then automatic confirmation. We have 3 ways. Everything can goes together, or we can have a separate GR. We can have a separate confirmation, activity confirmation. Okay, then takeoff of the order, and then further it goes to the FICO team. It need to be closed. A lot of things are there to speak. Plan for 180 seconds. Ashwini is asking if we are experienced, then we should talk about project in first question. Yes, if you are experienced, you must talk about what kind of projects you have done, what kind of rise of W you have worked, what kind of scenarios you have worked. You should talk about. Your explanation should start with the total number of experience. Out of that, I have that number of experience as operations and in domain knowledge, and then that number of experience I have as SAP PP consultant. Okay, in that experience, I have worked on this projects. And in these projects, these are my key responsibility areas. These kind of different industries I have worked on. Make sure you are not taking your client name. It's part of NDA. If you're working with Accenture, IBM, Wipro, Capgemini, all the places you have signed the NDA, non-disclosing agreement. We are basically working with those companies, and after leaving those companies also, you are not supposed to disclose the client names and other things. Okay. Even in my CV, when I prepare, I never write the client names. You should also not do that. Okay. Respect the NDAs. So you can talk about that which segment of the client you have worked. I have worked into one of the largest FMCG company. Okay. That kind of way you can tell about the sectors you have worked, the clients you have worked, what areas you have worked. You should explain in detail. Rahul is asking, can you explain how to answer the plan to produce answer? Okay. But I will try to give that how to answer it. If somebody asks, I will not speak for 3 minutes on that, but I will at least speak for 50 to 60 seconds so that you can get how it need to be started. Let's say if somebody asks, if Rahul has asked me, okay, Parminder, so you said you are a PP, you know the PP. Can you explain me how plan to produce end-to-end scenario works? Okay. Now the plan to produce scenarios can have a different variations in it, right? But generally it start with the planning. When we talk about planning, it start with the demand planning. So if I need to produce something, the first thing I need to hand in my hand that how much I need to produce, when I need to produce, which product, what quantity I need to produce. That all answers I can get it from the demand planning. Especially when I'm working into a scenario which is make to stock scenarios. There can be another sort of scenarios which is make to order scenarios, where basically I know my demands from my sales book, and from that directly I know how much I need to produce. But most of the scenarios I have worked is the make to stock scenarios, where basically forecast plays a very important role to understand and to decide that how much I need to produce, when I need to produce, right? So that forecast can come in my projects which I have worked can come from the different areas. In one of my projects, the forecast came from the SAP S&OP process, where basically from S&OP process, the forecasting has been done and the output come as a PIR, planned independent requirement. Then this planned independent requirement can further be used to plan to identify how much I need to produce. But in the different projects, I have seen that the different tools can be used for the forecasting. Let's say in one of the project, IBP was used, in one of the project, APO was used, in one of the project, Kinexus was used to generate those forecasting and get it feeded into the SAP system, where planned independent requirements have been created, and that was feeded into SAP system to do the further planning. So these plan independent requirements will be helping me to understand that how much of the requirement is there. Now, the another thing we need to understand after knowing how much of the requirement is there, we need to understand how much of production we need to do. Now, it does not mean that if I have a requirement of 1,000, I need to also produce 1,000. I have a requirement of 1,000, but maybe I have already some supplies, some production orders, planned orders, some stock is already there. So I need to know that how much exactly I need to produce. To know that how much exactly I need to produce in SAP, we use the tools called MRP, Material Requirement Planning. Those kind of tools we use it. And these tools help us to identify, compare demand versus supply versus stock. And then we came to know how much of the production would be required. And after running MRP, we come up with the planned orders. So in our cases, the MRP was run on the night batch job run. And with that, the planned orders was created. And then once the planned order is created, it is not a formed element, it is unformed element. So it need to be checked by the planners. They need to confirm the quantities, materials, if it is correct. Or if it need to be corrected, there is a chance that planner would be able to get them corrected. Okay. I have just reached, you have seen that how much elaboration I have done. I'm not expecting each and every one of you to do that kind of elaborations because you need to speak about the content which you know. So if you have never know that how can access to SAP, IBP to SAP, APU to SAP work, try to skip that part. You have not worked, you don't know. The work, the part you know, you are confident to answer the further questions because from there, what I do, I pick it up the points and my further questions would be all the explanation you will give it for the plant to produce. Okay, that was a quick from Rahul that how to explain. So you can further take from plant order till the time the order get closer. Okay. Okay. So this is a quickly how you can explain how the plant to produce can be done. Okay. Okay. Let me quickly check if we have any other question. My mouse got stuck. Just give me a minute. I have few questions into the question answer. Okay, this question will be answered. Sameez, I look after the costing of manufacturing segment of FMCG. I am from commerce background, did CMA Inter having 15 plus years of experience. Which module I should go for PP or FICO? Sameer, please stay till the last. I would like to have a little bit more understanding on your profile. I just don't want to give the answer in hurry. I would ask a little bit more details and then I would be suggesting whether PP or FICO can fit you. So stay till the last. This is the third segment, last segment of our webinar, where we'll be doing the career counseling. So I'm putting the question as open and we'll answer it at the end. Now the two things. This is I have put it a lot of stress on these two things कि भैया ये बहुत important है. You know what? That first 3 to 5 minutes, you have been selected or you have been rejected. Your interview can go to the 45 to 60 minutes. But what happens at the back end of the interviewer, the first 5 minutes, he liked you or he disliked you based on the first 5 minutes of the interview itself. Then after that, whatever the time he's spending with you, he's just validating his likes or dislike. If he has selected you after 30 to 45 minutes, he's just finding a reason why I need to select this guy. If in first 5 minutes the interviewer does not like you, then next 30 to 45 minutes is just finding a reason to get you rejected. Your initial 5 minutes are very important. Get well prepared for it. And it would be 80% of the question भैया सेम ही पूछने वाले हैं लोग बाग. ये दो क्वेश्चन तो एटलीस्ट चेंज नहीं होने वाले हैं. Now, if you have experience, if you have shown the experience, right? If you have shown the implementation experience, if you have shown the support experience, make sure you also explain those experience, what kind of things you have done in the implementation, what kind of things you have done in the support. You mention that and you get your discussion diverted from a generic discussion to your work specific discussion for the experienced people. So what happens if somebody suddenly take my interview, okay, on PP, I'm having somewhere around 18 years of experience. They can ask me some technical questions in a PP module, which I might not be able to answer. Because you need to understand each module is an ocean. In SAP, each module is an ocean. Not every single, even a single guy who would be knowing each and everything about a single module is not possible. You can bring a 25 years of experience in PP guy. I can ask few questions he would not be able to answer. So it is not mandatory that you need to know each and everything. It is important that things which you actually know it. You actually know that why it is there, how it is not be there, what kind of things need to be done, what kind of challenges are there, you know the details of it. So for the experienced candidates, it's important you take the discussion around your project work. Last couple of years, what kind of projects you have worked, what kind of work you have worked. Abhi, repetitive manufacturing, I worked on 13 years ago. If somebody start grilling me on the repetitive manufacturing deeper, the basics I would be able to tell. Why I would be able to tell the basics? Because before going to the interview, I did the basic revision. But if somebody will start giving into the very detail, ki bhaiya, what kind of enhancements is generally done into the repetitive manufacturing or nitty-gritty, if somebody will ask me, I might not be able to answer, right? So it's important that I drive my interview around my recent project experience. So make sure the recent project experience, implementation, support, you explain it so that you try to drive your discussion into the recent work which you have done. Some of the key areas which you should focus on is MRP, Material Requirement Planning. MRP, PP ke do P, one P is planning, another P is production. So these two areas are very important. Planning is very important. MRP is very important. Make sure you have a good hand on MRP. There might be some projects where the manufacturing is not there. Okay, have you seen that the manufacturing is not there, but still PP consultants are required? Yes or no? If you have seen, so there can be a chance that if the manufacturing is not there, still a PP consultant can be hired. If the planning is required, generally the consultant, sourcing and procurement consultant, SD consultant would not be that good into the planning. But planning you require everywhere. You need to do the forecast, how much of the sales you need to do. You need to do the planning that how much of the buying you need to do it. And MRP is kind of an element there. Planning is kind of an element there. So there are the projects which are doing in depth of MRP, material requirement planning, from the procurement side to run the MRP to get the sales order forecast getting converted into how much of buying we need to do it, would still require the PP consultants. They still prefer to have a consultant who have a very good knowledge and hands on the planning side, and PP consultants has that. Still, PP consultant can be hired into the non-manufacturing industries. So make sure you have a good hand on the planning, you have a good hand into the MRP, because MRP can be used with manufacturing or without manufacturing. Special scenarios. Make to stock, you should be knowing. Make to order, you should be knowing. Repetitive manufacturing, you should be knowing. Either a company go for discrete, make to stock, make to order, or repetitive manufacturing. 90% of the industries might be falling out of these three. Okay, so you should know that how these scenarios are worked. Integration with FICO module. What is the integration do we have with the FICO module? Quickly on the chat. How PP get integrated with FICO? Costing. Okay, how costing get integrated with FICO? Your cost center get linked. Controlling get linked. Work center is linked with the work center with the order settlement. Now you need to understand that work center if it get linked, activity if it get linked, you need to answer it from top to bottom. Okay, from top to bottom. And our mind maps would also be able to help you, right? So in our trainings, the kind of mind maps we use would be very helpful. Let me check if I can open a mind map which can quickly show that how this integrations has been done. Complex mind map, don't get afraid by seeing these kind of complex mind maps. But this talks about, that you're talking about the work center is getting linked with the cost center. Then we have activity, then we have activity rates that get linked. But the major thing which get linked with the important thing which you need to highlight from top to bottom if you need to speak is product cost estimate. Product costing has a strong linkage. The PP and FICO has a strong linkage with the product costing. Now, in this mind map, we explain, and basically in our training, you would be doing some part which CO consultant also do. right? Doing the product costing, doing the product cost estimating, releasing the product cost estimate, and then you would be able to link that, how these things get linked. Because if I would be asking that questions to you, if you said work center, I would be grilling left, right, center to you to get the right answers, right? So basically, product cost estimate is which is the link. To get the product cost estimate, what are the things you require? You require BOM, you require work center. So we have a detailed session on product cost estimate in our training. Just to let you know that we have just started a batch of PP. It's going on. We are doing a sessions. I think one session would be happening would be happening today 7 p.m. Right? We set Sunday and Monday 7 p.m. we have a session. So today we have session, tomorrow we have session. And when you access our trainings, you get access to 1 year accessing the session live. So whatever the sessions we'll be having for PP Mastery live session, which we do into the repetitions, you would be join the multiple repetition, whatever the repetition will be doing in 1 year, you would be able to join all the repetition to revise the stuff. Okay, so this is in detail. We explain that how the integration happens, and we focus a lot into the integrations because the PP related stuff people are able to answer. But when it goes to the integration, that's where people struggle. They are not able to answer. And that is the most important thing as a consultant you need to know, especially into the implementation projects. Okay, what is how SAP PP get integrated with MM? Quickly, over the chat. MM के साथ क्या इंटीग्रेशन है? MRP. Sonu said MRP. How about others? Quickly over the chat. MRP for procurement, procurement and AP, accounts payable. Okay, MRP. BOM. Material, quota arrangement, subcontracting, material master. One linkage, there are multiple linkages, but one of the big linkage we have in the MM module is your procurement planning, because MRP engine can be used for the procurement planning also, not only the manufacturing. And when PP is there, they are also supposed to have a discussion with the procurement team to do the planning of the raw materials. Okay, different kind of strategies are required to use it. So integration with MM is there. The MRP procurement planning is one of the things which will be there. Second thing would be there when you do the confirmations, when you do the good receipts, when you do the goods issues, right? At that point, some GL accounts need to hit. So that GL account is a combination of MM plus FICO. So you're doing a PP transaction, which is hitting some GL account, and the configuration is done into the MM. PP account, right? FICO GL accounts is hit, configuration is done in MM. The account determination. That's where you would be also be having a linkage. Your inventory, you need to get the material from the store, right? You need to create the reservation, the inventory management you need to do. Inventory management is generally is the MM module. Okay, you need to consume the inventories, you would need to produce the inventories, you need to get your materials from the store. So that business processes would be having a good linkage with the sourcing and procurement. Similar way, there would be the integration with SD. If it is order to not order to make to order process, there would be a strong integration with SD module. Okay, there would be a strong integration with SD module because based on the sales order, you would be creating your plant orders. Other areas, apart from these things, other area which you need to focus to get your interview done well, planning strategies. Okay, planning strategies. I have not given a single interview in PP. Nowadays, I give the solution architect level interviews, so I don't get those kind of question asked to me. But initial level, I started my career as a PP consultant in the consulting field, right? So when I have given my interviews, I have not get a single interview done for the PP, जहाँ पे they have not grilled me about the planning strategies. Planning strategy is the most difficult part. It has so much into it, but the planning strategy is also the one part. If you will answer it correctly, your chances of getting selected is very high. Planning strategy is the questions which would be asked in every interview, every technical interview of PP, you cannot get rid of the planning strategies. You cannot get rid of from the planning strategy. So planning strategy के लिए भी I have created a detailed mind map. Let's have a look on the planning strategies mind map.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
So there are the multiple planning strategies are there. MRP3 view, you maintain the planning strategy, right? It looks very small kind of a strategy. So this one goes in very deep, explaining you each of the planning strategy. If it is a 10, why it is used, which scenario it would be used, what is going to happen with 10, when the PIR will get consumed, everything has been explained. So this is a very big mind map. So we'll be having at least 2 sessions on this, 2 complete live sessions on this, so that you would be able to understand all the planning strategies. It's that big that I'm not able to even expand it. So screenshots, many things has been put into this so that you would be able to understand these planning strategies. And if you're going for the interview, just have a look on this mind map and everything would be revised very quickly. Because what happens that few planning strategies which you have worked on, you would be able to answer it. Few other strategies which you have not worked on, then it will not immediately trigger in your mind. So you need some refreshment. So this mind map can help you to refresh those planning strategy in your mind so that when the question has been asked in the interview, you can shoot the questions like anything, the difficult questions also. Okay. So this is about the planning strategies. Make sure you are well prepared with the planning strategies. You cannot become a SAP consultant without knowing the planning strategies. This is the importance of planning strategies. Now, if you want to enroll for our full PP Mastery course, there would be a link given, or might be link has been already given, or my team would be giving a link, okay, which you can go through and you can enroll yourself for the PP Mastery courses. It has been just started. We are going on, and we have a multiple hands. We have a multiple skillful people to deliver those training. I am there. I take the sessions. Then we have a Sharvi is there. Then we have a Faisal is there. Then we have Kunal, Pankaj is there, who takes the session related to PP. Then we have Sam also who can jump in to do the PP sessions. So based on the expertise knowledge onto the different topics, we have different trainers who explain the things. As I told you, the module is the ocean. So some people are expert in some particular area, so they take the session on that area. Okay, so make sure you all are taking notes. Make sure you all are taking notes because I'm going to give assignment today to make the notes from the today's session. And taking a notes is another way to get engaged in your training sessions. Otherwise, whenever you'll be training, classroom training, so sitting somewhere, if you're just sitting and listening, if your hands are not working, if you're not noting down the things in between, your mind gets started diverted. We need to hack the mind. So to hack your mind, I am asking you a question. I am using your fingers on the chat into the keyboard so that your focus come back. Another thing is if you take notes while doing the sessions, that also a hack which engage your mind. Okay, so make sure when you're sitting into the trainings, you have a digital notepad or you have a physical notepad with you. You are scribbling something. That scribbling is just making a mind focus that, okay, he need to focus something so that he need to note down. That's just a mind hack you should use. And I would be giving you a link today to make sure that LinkedIn link, make sure that whatever the notes you have taken today, you post it there over the LinkedIn. Another very important thing is a master data. Believe me or not, you can also become SAP consultant and even you don't know much about the configurations, you know some basics of the planning strategies, but you are very strong onto the master data. Your 70% PP processes are controlled. 70% of the PP processes can be controlled through the master data. 30% is through the configuration. Now, this planning strategies, MRP, these all are master data. Itna sa configuration and that much of master data. So I always say that PPQM are kind of modules which depends more onto the master data and less onto the configuration. So if we have a very good people who are working as a core users, super users, they can be converted into the consultant like this. They just need to top up a little bit of knowledge. They need to get a little bit of confidence that they can handle the position as a consultant, and they can be converted into consultants very quickly. You might be working into some projects where you are only responsible for the master data. The first project which I have worked, was the implementation project, and I was into the master data team. Not only me, we were three people. We were three consultant, PPQM consultant, who was responsible only for the master data. Then after working for 2 months, I was switched into the functional track. Then I leaded the functional track. But initial 2 months, my role first was, and when I moved there, somebody replaced me. Another PP consultant came into the master data track. Our job was to make sure that we explain the business, that what is the master data required, explain the templates to them, and then make the follow-ups with them, make sure we sit with them to get the data filled, and we validate what data they have filled. Wherever the data is missing or they have not filled, go back to them, get it filled again, validate it again, make sure that master data is ready as per the design which has been created by the functional consultants or the functional tracks. All the data is ready, all the data is uploaded into the system. That was our stream job. That was my job as a PPP consultant. No configuration is required. If I know the master data, the dependency, the integration of the master data in PP, I can become a consultant. That was my focus area. That's why in our jobs, in our things, when you'll be going through in our trainings, after you complete the master data, I would be asking, now you need to jump into the SAP Job and Mastery course. And the Job and Mastery course starts with the CV preparation. Even you complete the training, by the time you would be the 60 to 70% training is completed, I would be pushing you कि भैया अभी जाओ, go and apply into the job market with your CVs. Okay, go and apply into the job market with your CVs, because that is one thing which I understand, which I know based on having a market experience. You need not to know each and everything to become a consultant. You need not to know. That's where the people got stuck with the big SAP books. Okay, 20% people are able to complete it. And then out of that, another 8 to 10 are able to become a consultant. But 80% people fail when they go with the big SAP books approach. So much of content they need to cover. And then they need to say that agar ye sab kuch aata hai, then only I will become a PP consultant. No. It's not like each and everything you need to know. If you know the core areas, basic areas, you work on them, you can become a consultant. Then the configurations. Configuration is not very big in PP. Master data is more. Because if I want to set up a process in PP, I need to do a lot of master data. I need to set up the relevant master data. Other way, if I need to set up a process in SAP SD, I need to do less master data, but more configurations. So PP is a master data oriented, although 20 to 30% configuration also would be there. Your order type configurations, your MRP plant level configurations, your plant dependent configurations for the manufacturing when you'll be producing it. Shop floor control plant dependent parameters would be there, but that are not that high. They are influencing, but more than that, master data are the influencing factors. But still, you need to also focus on the configurations, because when you're giving interview as a consultant, maybe after interview, you are not working on them, but in the interviews, it might be asked. So focus on the configurations, focus on the master data, focus on the planning strategies, focus on make to stock, make to order, repetitive manufacturing, focus on MRP, focus on your experience, focus on end-to-end plan to produce cycles, and focus on the initial explanation which you would be given. If you can focus on those areas, you would be able to prepare better. I'm going to talk about some soft skills, and then we'll be jumping into some sample questions which I have asked or which our students has given to us कि sir ये पूछा गया मेरे से interview में. We'll be going to that part. But before that, do we have any questions? If you have any questions, you can go ahead quickly. SAP testing experience is considered in the implementation project? Yes, is considered. What is considered is what you mention in your CV. On top of it, you should be able to defend it. Okay, you should be able to defend that experience. So if you are working only into the testing, you can showcase your profile that you have worked on end-to-end implementation. Then the question would be asked, भैया FS कैसे prepare किया? Which RISE-W you have prepared? Business blueprint. And you said कि sir उस पे तो मैंने काम नहीं किया. So how can I show the end-to-end implementation? That's where basically we have articulated a course. When you take a course from SastraGeek, we prefer you take the bundle. In that bundle, which we are not charging, we are giving complimentary, is the most important and useful product is SAP Job and Mastery and Implementation Exposure. It's alone is a self-paced course which you need to go parallel to the PP training, and it's 60 to 70 hours of content which you need to cover in that. That explain you end to end. I have given an explanation of one of the project which I have worked with all the detail of the industry, all the detail of the business processes, and then I have explained how the SAP has been implemented on it in the different area of the project, what kind of things has been done in discover phase, what we have done in the implementation phase, in the requirement gathering phase, what we have done, how we have created a BVP document, how we have created FS documents. Everything has been explained in that. So you need to make sure you get training of that so that you would be able to answer all the questions which can be asked in end-to-end implementation. I'm working as a PP consultant. Mahesh is having a question. I have explored more MRP strategies config. Then what should be my approach? I'm working as a PP consultant, but I have explored more. I have explored more MRP strategies config. Then maybe you want to say, Mahesh, I have not explored more. That is what you want to say. Can you clarify your question? I'm not clear. Shiva is saying, how can you control shop floor? Can you please explain? The shop floor control, there is a specific configurations are there which need to be maintained. Okay, we have, you know that we have a MRP4 view. MRP4 view as for the master data is prepared to control your shop floor, including with we are having also the work scheduling views, right? When you maintain the master data. So with that views from the master data perspective, we control the shop floors. And then all the things have been used, routing would be used, BOM would be used. On top of that, we have a shop floor control plant level parameters, which we set it in the configurations to maintain it. So all of these things, you will get it into the trainings. Okay, Shiva, all of these things, the master data plus configuration in detail, you will be getting into the trainings. We have a specific session on the we have a specific session on the shop floor control. Yeah, Mahesh question has been clarified. Ki, bhaiya, I want to explore more onto the MRP strategies config. So Mahesh, what you can do, you can take our SAP PP mastery videos, or you can take the SAP PP mastery bundle. I will prefer you take the bundle because with bundle you will be able to attend the live sessions also. And the selective content onto the strategies. I have videos onto the strategies that you can go through it so that you have more knowledge onto the MRP strategies. On top of that, you should also go with the PP excellence, Mahesh. PP excellence will take planning to the next level. So I explain in the mastery the MRP. In excellence, I explain MRP and MRP live also I explain. But I explain into the excellence, I explain the DDMRP, predictive MRP, the why SAP has gone with MRP live, the PPDS overview, right? All the new things which has been included in SAP S/4HANA is in the part of excellence. So mastery also is on S/4HANA, but the core content and then the new advanced content is in excellence. So our PP training gets completed with PP mastery plus PP excellence. Okay, they all have total two different contents. The mastery is somewhere around 40 hours of content. The excellence is another 25 to 30 hours of content. Okay, Shatrughan is asking MTS or MTO where we can check if here my order is MTS or my order is MTS and my order is MTO. Generally, we have a different order types for it. Okay, when we do the configuration, we do have a different order types. But in the material, you can check the master data. From there also, you can check कि ये MTS है या MTO है. through the planning strategies. Mahesh is looking forward to join SAP IBP. SAP IBP also we have, I think we have started from today. The SAP IBP, there was a session number 1 today for IBP. So you can join that course. Now, the other things which is very important in the interviews are soft skills. Make sure you don't get deselected. You have a good knowledge, and because of soft skill, you don't get deselected. Check the tool beforehand. Whatever the tool you are using for the interviews, if they have sent the meeting on the Zoom, if they send the meeting on the Teams, make sure you check beforehand whether it's working for you or not. I always suggest that you should try to join 15 minutes in before, so that sometimes some software need to be downloaded. Sometimes your computer will ask that after this download of this software, you need to restart. Those kind of things can happen, right? So you need to make sure that 15 minutes before, if you have never used that tool, try to log in. If you are confident you have used that tool, Teams, Zoom, or other things on which interview is going to happen, you should join 5 minutes before. Not join on time, join before time. You need a job, right? You need to make sure you are not making the other person waiting. The interviewer can make you wait, because you need to understand that a lot of companies the interview has been given, they are not the only sitting there to take the interviews. They're working into the multiple projects. So many times it happens with me also. I'm into a project meeting and I have interview schedule. And definitely for me, the project meeting is more important because client is sitting there and sometime it will get delayed. So when the interview is scheduled, it is some people, oh, sir, I waited there for 3 minutes. Nobody joined. I left. भैया job तुमको चाहिए, right? You need the job. Wait for at least 10 minutes. Even if nobody is joining it, wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Other people can be busy, but you need to always join before time because you are the one who needs the job, right? Never argue. Never argue. Some people stuck into the argument कि नहीं सर ये कैसे हो सकता है, नहीं ये तो ऐसे ही होता है, right? Never argue. Never argue with your interviewer. If you say that you are saying something correct and he says something, no, this is wrong, this is the way it happens. Okay, maybe it is you have a more experience. As per your experience, it might happen like that. I need to go and cross check again on this part on my knowledge. Okay, so try to avoid the arguments. Have eye contact. Make sure your camera is switched on. Your camera is always switched on. Make sure. Okay, your camera is always switch on. Some people say that, okay, they will join and they will not switch on the camera. And then interviewers ask, yeah, I'm not able to see you. And then say, okay, then I will switch on the camera. Always go on camera. Always try to show your confidence. Okay. And when you are on to the camera, always try to have eye contact with the camera, with the other people. Maybe they will not be have a camera on, switched on. You can switch on the camera if you after 10 to 15 minutes of interview, if you're facing some problem, you can ask, is it okay if I switched off my camera? Sometime internet bandwidth would not be that good, so you can ask them. But always try to go with switch on with the camera and try to have eye contact. Follow up. Follow up is important. Okay, if you have given the interview, make sure if there is no answer coming, make sure every week you are following it up, whoever has scheduled the interview. Maybe you can call them, or maybe you can just drop a email that I have gone through the interview, it went well, and I'm also excited to join your company and this role. Please let me know that what is the next steps and whether I have been selected, or let me know that what is the outcome of interview. If for 2 months they are not responding, कितना रुपए जा रहा है? एक email, to send an email, it does not cost you anything, right? Just send one email every week and do the follow-ups. Sometimes the follow-ups email respond you are not getting, go to the Facebook pages, go to the Twitter handle, and there also you can say that my interview was scheduled, this was the requirement ID number, and nobody has came back to me with the responses. You can also do the follow-ups. I have seen that onto the first Facebook pages, the answers are very quick. For one of the company which I have worked, I was also not getting the respond, but on the Facebook page, I got the respond, but not over the emails. Be in interview friendly environment. Make sure that you have a proper place to sit. Okay, where you are giving interview, it's not like you are traveling in a bus and then giving an interview, or you have phone like this answer. Make sure you have in front of your laptop, desktop, have a proper sitting space, not a noisy area. A proper space is there to get the interview done. One of the candidate has been just deselected, not one, many. We also do the consulting. We have hired at least 5, 6 people within the SastraGeek. A lot of students, we have given the opportunity to them. We are having a requirement for SD, CS consultants, and we have hired our students, and they are now consulting to our clients. Few of them got rejected, and clients say that for this work they need to work remotely. But when we have given the interview, he was sitting on a dining table, and we can see that on behind the kitchen is there, people are moving here and there. Because of that reason, client has rejected the candidate. They said that it is a remote position. In the remote position, we are expecting you will be working remotely. You should be having a decent space from where you would be able to work. You would be able to attend the meetings from there. Because if you don't have decent quiet space, it would be a lot of disturbance when you will be attending the meetings. So they have rejected. One guy has taken the interview from the bus he was traveling. He has taken it. He was simply rejected without any giving a reason what is his knowledge set. That this guy does not respect the interview process and he does not respect the other company position. He did not make an effort to make sure that he is in a proper environment of the interview. So he does not consider that he would be taking his activities with responsibility. That is the feedback we got, and the guy got rejected. Make sure you don't do that mistake. Okay, make sure you don't do that mistake. Shatrughan Karkade asked, now sir, there is no openings for SAP fresher, then how we can start SAP career? So Shatrughan,
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
I'm here and I'm getting these kind of things, need to answer it I do a lot of career counseling. A lot of people come with that mindset कि sir fresher के लिए तो opening है ही नहीं, हम कैसे करें? How can we do it? Right? So my answer is that to answer to that question, I have created a 70 hours of course. That is SAP Job and Mastery and Implementation Project Exposure. That how your SAP knowledge can be converted into the job. Right? Now there are the two kind of people who consider themselves as a fresher. One are those who does not have a SAP experience, SAP consulting experience. Second is who does not have at all experience. You are a fresh graduate from your college. Are you that one? Or you are having some experience into the operations and then you are going for the consulting. If you are into the second stage, then don't consider yourself as a fresher. You have experience. What you don't know is how to utilize your experience, how to showcase your experience. That's what you don't know. But you have experience. So how you would be able to, if you are the one who is having some experience, we would be teaching you that in SAP Job and Mastery, how you would be able to showcase some experience. From going through the Job and Mastery, you will be getting a lot of knowledge which you can showcase as some experience. Then we have internship program also, where basically you sit with consultant and you deliver a project. The freshers must need to go through, and other people also to get a confidence working on a project, they can go through the internship program, where you would be sitting with the consultant and you would be delivering a end-to-end implementation project. But if you are a fresh college graduate, I would also suggest you after doing SAP training, you can also look for the operations job for 1 to 2 years, where basically you would be working as a SAP end user, not as SAP consultant. If you are a complete fresher, right? Then my suggestion is go for SAP end user job for 1 or 2 years, get some operations experience, because when you consult something, you are doing a consulting, right? If you have worked onto the business processes first, and then you do the consulting to those business processes implementing into the SAP, you would be able to do better consulting, right? And if you don't have any business process knowledge, then it is sometimes tricky for you to get you started. So that would be my suggestion. With zero experience means no experience at all. After this training, try to also look for, there are some people who have been directly able to jump as a consultants also. I have success stories, you can go through it. But my personal recommendation is work for 2 years as SAP end user and then convert your profile to a consultant if you have a zero, if you are a fresh graduate. In social media interview, coordinator need to message or company profile. So when you go to the company profile, you will see already some messages people has put it, and you will see that some responses also there. So from there you can find out whether you are going to give the right message or not. You can message them onto the company profile also. You can message them, or you can also try to message to the coordinator if you find. But message that I'm not getting response. Don't immediate after having a 2-3 follow-ups through the email. Then use the social media handles. G-Wish is asking how the AI will impact on PP module as SAP is aggressively working towards the modernization. G-Wish, you have missed the session. I have done a 2 hours of session. How the AI is going to impact SAP, how the AI is going to impact the different modules, and how the AI is going to impact the SAP job market. I have done a 2 hours of complete session on it. Okay, I have done a 2 hours of complete session on it. So you need to go through that session. That session is available in our Step Up Circle videos. So when you enroll for the Mastery Bundle, we also give you all the Step Up Circle videos, which you have done from last 1.5 years. It would be almost more than 100 or 150 plus hours of videos would be there, which will also give it to you. In that one video is there, how the AI is going to impact the SAP solutions. Now, these are some examples of the PP interview questions which you might be having. And by the time we are going to the PP interview questions, I will also give you the link where you need to respond. And then I will also explain the LinkedIn. So this is the LinkedIn link where you can go and I want you to try to mention your today's learning on the LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very important tool in all of my sessions. And when you will be joining us also in a trainings, or if you have already joined, we give you assignments, right? And then I have given you the templates on which you need to complete your assignment with the screenshots. And then I would be asking you, bhaiya, that knowledge, that template which you have created, also share on the LinkedIn. Because sharing a knowledge on the LinkedIn is one way to increase your network on the LinkedIn, to increase your presence in your knowledge and the domain area, right? With your increased presence in your knowledge and the domain area, two things will happen. Your profile would come up onto the top when somebody is searching for SAP PP. If you have a lot of hashtags, you have created a lot of content on that, your profile will come up and you will be getting more job opportunities. Second, if you are giving some interviews and the company or somebody is taking an interview from Europe, US, those people are there, and sometimes many times India also. They before coming to the interview, they check, especially when it goes to the leadership round, they check your LinkedIn profile. Okay, they checked your LinkedIn profile also. It's very common. When I was working with one of the company who has a headquarter in the US, it was instruction that before going to the interview, we need to check the candidate's LinkedIn profile to have a pre-knowledge that what kind of things he have worked. And before the interview gets scheduled, sometime the HR also need to check the LinkedIn profiles. So make sure you have a LinkedIn profile, make sure you have a presence. Now, by the time you are creating a content, you can also utilize the other people content by commenting it, by marking it, by sharing your thoughts onto their content. That way also you can increase your presence. Okay. So when the interview has been scheduled and somebody has gone through your profile and he has seen that, okay, you have created a lot of content onto the SAP PP, so that already justify your selection process. Okay, that already justify a lot of work which you have done on the LinkedIn. If somebody goes and sees, that already justify that you are a PP expert, you have a knowledge on PP because you have shared a lot of content on the particular topics. So that helps you to get your first impression generated on the interviewer, and especially if you are the one looking for the jobs which is like overseas jobs or the freelancing job sitting in India working for the US client, working for the Europe client, LinkedIn is very important. Okay. So what you need to do, what is your today's learnings are there? Go ahead and mark quickly onto the comments that what is your today's learning. So by the time you're marking for that, we will go ahead and let's have a quick eye on to the some of the interview questions which has been asked. Explain end-to-end plan to produce cycle. We have gone through this detail, right? MTS versus MTO. People will explain this is MTS, this is MTO. In which scenarios you will consult your client to use MTS, in which scenarios he should use MTO. That kind of questions can be asked. So you should be more detailed with the right answer that how you would be doing consulting. Rise of Ws, enhancements, reports. Have you worked on that? What kind of? These are the custom solutions. If you're going with the experience, it would be asked, right? That's why in our job and mastery course, we have explained that what kind of rise of W can be prepared. And when you jump into the internship program, you would be working on to the few rise of W, preparing a functional specification for them. So that exposure would help. One of our candidates, he was a fresher. He was only selected because he explained about the rise of W. He explained how the FS prepared and he explained how a couple of FS he has created. Because of that knowledge only he got selected. The interviewer was very impressed and he said that you don't have any experience, but you know all of these things, functional specification, BBB preparation, how reports, enhancement work. Then he mentioned that he was part of the internship program with SastraGeek where he has learned all of these things. Because of that knowledge, they have selected him. If you're showing experience, make sure you you are handy with your support tickets. That if you have handled the support tickets, what challenging support tickets you have handled, that should be handy. User is not able to release the production order. What can be the reason? What is the difference between PD and VB? PD based planning and VB based planning, what would be the difference? What would be the difference between MRP and MPS? Where client need to use MRP, where client need to use MPS? Tell us the few transaction codes, tell us the few tables. These things you make sure you, before the interviews, you have a quick glance on it because these things have been asked just to check actually you have a working experience or not. If you are a working consultant, you would be able to quickly tell that production order, plan order, tables, you would be able to quickly tell how the confirmation is done, how the confirmation is reversed, those kind of things, those kind of transaction code, you would be able to tell it if you are actually having a hands-on experience. So just to check that, some tables or transaction codes can be asked in the interview. How SAP PP integrate with other modules? We have discussed FICO integration, integration. End user is complaining my MRP results are not as desired. What can be the issue? In that topics, I can speak for 2 hours. Right? You should at least speak for 2-3 minutes. The end user is complaining MRP results to ठीक नहीं आ रहे. What can be the reason for it? In your project, how forecasting was done and how does it feed into the PP planning? How the forecasting happened in your project and how it get feed into the PP. What is the difference between SAP discrete and repetitive manufacturing? Okay, in which business scenario, what we will suggest, whether PP discrete, repetitive, or PPPI. What is the difference between PP discrete and PPPI? PPPI, we have one session, the overview session, it is part of the excellence. What is difference between TACO and closed status? What will happen in TACO? What will happen in closed? How the backflush can be triggered and how the backflush can be controlled. Explain the difference between MRP procedure, MRP group, and MRP profile. These are some of the very common questions which is asked. Make sure when you are giving the interviews, you note down your questions. You note down your questions well. Right? When you are giving, because if you have failed in the one interview and if you have noted down all the questions and prepared, failed in second, failed in third, failed in fourth, after fourth interview, fifth interview, whatever would be asking you, you would be already knowing the 70% of the questions. 70% of the question you would be already knowing if you have noted down the questions and you have worked on those questions. So by the time you are giving a fifth or sixth interview, You already know that 50%, 60% of the question which will be asked, that question you should be able to answer with confidence. To get selected in an interview, it's not like that 100% of the questions you need to answer. 60 to 70% of the questions, if you are answered with the confidence, generally you get selected. Generally you get selected. Interview preparation, I have already talked about a lot. Okay. Few things I will be quickly highlighting. Never say no to the interviews. Don't get scared. Sir, अभी तो मैं prepare ही नहीं हूँ, नहीं अभी नहीं जाता, अभी नहीं करेंगे. Always go for the interviews. You are never prepared. Okay, you are never prepared. That if you say that when I will 100% prepared, then I will give the interview. I have done a lot of one-to-one career counseling, and I met so many people. They are just preparing for a year, 2 year, and then not going into the interview mode because they feel they are not prepared. They are not confident. So if you have a fear of interviews, the best way to handle the fear is to face the fear. You need to give the interviews. Ground for the interviews we have already talked about. Make sure you join on time before you check it. Interview environment is good. Do eye-to-eye contacts. Different companies have a different round of interviews. So there can be a first round, which can be your basic HR round. Second round can be technical round, which is very important. Third round can be the leadership round, and the fourth round can be the HR round. Whenever an interview is scheduled, you can take a break. You can take a 1 day off and prepare for it. Okay, if you're really looking for a first consulting job, okay, the people who are already working, not for them, but if you're really looking for a change, if you're looking for a first consulting job, when the interview is scheduled, take a break for 1 or 2 days from your existing job and prepare for it. Technical preparation we have talked about. Standard questions also we have talked about. Key techniques to avoid the question. If somebody has asked the question and you don't know the answer, it's a very good question. Let me think about it. Now, let me think about it. It's not necessary that everything you answer spontaneously. Sometimes you can try to think about the question. Sometimes you can try to cross the question, try to ask more detail than what the interviewer is trying to ask about. That gives your mind some time. Sometimes you know the things, but your mind needs some time to get the answer, right? So let me think about it. Or can you explain that in that particular part, whether business wants to do in this way or business want to do in that way? Or what is the particular reason why business is trying to implement this scenario? You're just buying the time, getting some more details, right? If you really don't know onto some particular topic, somebody asks you about DDMRP, भैया तुमने सुना भी नहीं है, so you can simply say that I have never got chance to work on it, but I am very keen to learn it. If the chance has been given, I would be able to learn quickly and I would be able to get it delivered. That's the kind of answers which you can give. Okay, this was everything from me from the today's session. Okay. So if you are really interested in to get these all things done, you can also be part of our trainings, which we are doing, and we'll be having a more detailed stuff covered in the trainings. But that would be giving you a quick holistic idea कि भैया क्या क्या चाहिए. If anybody has any questions, quickly. First, I would be going with the questions for the content which we have covered.
Don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on bell icon to update yourself with latest SAP videos.
Okay, so Shatrughan, your question I have just answered. How to say no. Mahesh is saying usually interviewer asks scenario-based question. How can we encounter all these questions? So scenario-based questions can be asked, especially when you will be giving the interview as experienced candidates, right? Then the scenario-based question would be asked. The scenario-based question, you should try to decode the question and try to link with the master data, with the configuration, with the master data, with the configuration. Scenario-based question, the other thing is that you can always cross question the scenario-based question. You can always try to cross question that, okay, what is the reason that why business want to do it? Why this particular scenarios need to be implemented? You can also try to cross question. And then you need to think about that what master data or what particular configuration need to be done to get these answers done. With the more experience, the more scenario you will encounter and the more answers you will be able to give it. I will go ahead with the people who have other questions. So I have a one question from Samir. Samir, are you still there into the session? If you are there, you can raise your hand. I will give you the chance first to unmute, and then I can suggest whether you should go ahead with the. Yeah, Samir is there. Yeah, Samir. So what I understand that you are having knowledge onto the FMCG industry,
Yes,
and costing is the segment which you are looking for.
yes. Am I audible, sir? First of
Yes, you are audible.
all, कुछ नहीं सर, आप बेसिकली पीपी का ही देते हैं क्या, सॉल्यूशंस एंड ट्रेनिंग, SastraGeek mainly, या
No, we
एसीपी?
give the FICO. We have mostly all of the modules are there. We have FICO module also. So if you are into the more into the controlling, you are into it. I will suggest first go for FICO course and then go for a specific controlling course.
Keen control. How many months course this is?
The FICO would be 3 months. On top of that, you can say that another 2 months for the controlling. Controlling is a self-paced course. So
Okay.
altogether, it will take 5 months of time.
Okay.
Because
हाँ,
your background is commerce, so I don't want you to push it for PP, and you are doing the
yeah,
controlling
yeah.
job. So you should go for SAP FICO and then expertise in controlling.
I also like MM, but sir, my personally, I also like MM. So I am in dilemma because SAP just came here 4 years before in our group, because directly we jumped to SAP S/4HANA.
Hmm. Okay. So I would suggest, based on your background is commerce, based on your experience, you can go for FICO. But if your interest is SAP MM, if you strongly feel that SAP MM would be better, then you can go for SAP MM also. Not a problem. But to let you know, FICO would always be having a more demand.
Yes, yes.
FICO plus controlling would be having a more demand
More demand.
always than MM.
Acha, acha. Right, sir. Right, sir. About your fees and all, you will let us know some after some time.
You need to drop an email to support@sastrageek.com, and they would be telling you the details of the course curriculum for FICO and controlling or MM.
Controlling also, you, your colleague and your support staff has a hands-on experience, na? Especially CO module.
CO, we have a very good training, one of the best in the world, but it is self-paced, not the instructor-led.
Okay, means मैं समझा नहीं सर, सेल्फ बेस में.
मतलब वो सीओ का ट्रेनिंग यू नीड टू गो थ्रू द वीडियोस. जैसे अभी ये लाइव सेशन हो रहा है, सीओ कैसे लाइव सेशन नहीं होगा.
ओके ओके ओके, गॉट इट सर,
Okay.
गॉट इट.
I have
आपके
Sachin Yadav. Yeah, go ahead, please. Sachin is not able to unmute. Kaushal Pandey, if you have any question, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm from your PP mastery course I've joined. So I missed the last Monday session where you conducted one-on-one session in the end. So I was hoping if you can do that now or whenever you are free.
Oh, so if you're into the PP mastery, this Monday session, okay, last Monday session, which I think, yeah, I have done for the PP guys.
Yeah. Actually, I won't be able to attend on Monday because I'm working on US timing. So I'm working from US. So morning 9 o'clock is my office time that time. So,
Okay, so I will,
so I'm catching up with the recording thing.
okay, you just tell me the details and I will update it. I don't have Excel sheet, but I am putting into my team WhatsApp and they will update it. So you let me know that what is the target which you have after getting this training completed, after PP mastery.
Yes,
Kaushal?
sir. So my target is to get into consultancy job, become a PP consultant. So I have like 8 years of experience in SAP technical. I was working as a security and GRC consultant, and I have done couple of implementation rollout in my previous company. And then I came to US to finish my masters.
So you are in US right now, and right now you're working?
Yes, I'm working as a production planning end user, production planning analyst.
Okay, as an end user you're working.
End user, yes.
Total experience
Total experience is 9 years now.
and SAP experience?
SAP total experience 8 years, you can say.
Okay, and SAP?
SAP 8 years. Total experience 9 years.
You have SAP GRC experience of
Yes, GRC and security and basis experience too.
working for SAP PP consultant. Got it. I've noted it down, and the thing you need to do, Kaushal, is make sure you get your training completed, mastery,
Mm-hmm.
update your profile, and go and hit the US job market. And in that part, because you will not be joining Monday session, you will not be having a more interaction on the Monday session. Make sure that if you're not hitting your goals, right? If you have updated your CV 2 months from the now, and if you're not getting the interview calls, or if you're not able to clear the interviews, please book a one-to-one call with me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So job hunt mastery and the PP mastery course, which you are doing right now, these are the two important courses which you need to get completed.
Okay. So in 2 months' time, you're saying like two. So I should start applying after
No
2
need
months.
to complete it in 2 months of time. You can take your time.
Okay.
You can take your time, but in 2 months of time, you should start applying for the jobs.
Okay. And one more last question, sir. Are you planning to start excellence module also after this? Like once the PP
Excellence
mastery?
module will start somewhere around in month of May.
Okay, in May.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone has any other question? If we don't have any other question, we are ending our session here for today, and we'll catch you back in the next session. Tomorrow evening, we have a session for PP where we'll be discussing the we'll be discussing the routing and work centers. And we have I would also be joining this session. But the Sharvi would be the one who would be taking that session. And Mahesh, if you want to have a one-to-one, the team has given a link, or you can drop a message to support@sastrageek.com, and they can help you to get a one-to-one session scheduled with me. Generally, it happens on Tuesday evening. I do have a one-to-one consulting sessions, one-to-one career counseling sessions. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today's session, and we'll catch you in the next session. Bye-bye for now.